Welcome back to the Abundance Alchemist, your quiet space to remember who you are. Tonight we speak gently about returning to sacred boredom, recall of money as memory, safety in slowness, not as a lesson to learn, but as something your soul already carries. What if you've never truly been broken? What if your softness was always your power? What if this ache has always been an invitation? Let these questions settle for a moment, like soft hands resting just above your skin. You don't have to do anything here. No need to reach or rush. Here, there's only the slow exhale that finds you after holding on all day. There is a kind of boredom that isn't emptiness, but softness. Not a lack, but gentle soil that has never forgotten how to grow, even now, as you listen with more of your body than your mind. Notice how safety grows in spaces where nothing much is happening. Slowness is its own blessing when abundance is allowed to stretch and breathe sometimes. The richest moments are what we call boring, unhurried, quiet, familiar. And within them, there is a pulse under everything, a steady current that says you're allowed to have more by doing less. It's safe now. Money remembers who you are even when you're not looking for it. It moves like memory, coming back in gentle waves, called by the feeling under your skin, by the old truths your heart still whispers in the dark. You don't need to chase it tonight. Here, letting everything be unremarkable is its own kind of ritual, safe and slow and entirely yours. Let this echo. There is nothing you need to hold right now. Just a gentle invitation, softer than sleep, to come back to yourself, the way light comes back at dawn, easy, inevitable, rooted in what you have always carried. Even this is part of the remembering. Before the world moves, before the first hum of traffic, before anyone needs something from you, there is only the hush and the air, and that space where the day cannot yet name you. You find yourself at the table with the mortar, the pestle held easy in your palm. There is something familiar here, this small act, this slow beginning. Like the way your chest rises on a soft inhale before you say who you are, before you carry anything at all. It's just you and the silence, wrapped around the slow rhythm of stone and leaf. There's a coolness to dawn that sits on your skin, and it speaks in quiet invitation. The herbs are whole still, their scent locked away. You gather them with the same care you once used to pick wildflowers without breaking the stem, and as you press them down, there's no rush, no performance. Not everything that grows needs to be useful right away. Some things just let themselves be known, little by little, under your hands. Let it soften here. You notice that your breath matches the circling grind. Exhale on the push, inhale as you lift. The clock isn't watching. Nobody is asking for speed or for more. There's only the present moment, a slice of soft light at the window, the press of time slowing, becoming softer, becoming yours. Even if you drift, this still lands. Your mind remembers other dawns, the kind that felt urgent, the kind that came with cold floors and hurried footsteps. But this one, with the herbs green lifting into the air, feels like it belongs only to you. The world might expect effort, productivity, proof, but here you are, hands dusted in leaves, learning the shape of enough. You trace the rim of the mortar with your thumb. Smooth stone, cool and patient. There are old stories about beginnings, how sometimes the most sacred thing is not to start fast, but to notice every small shift. To mound the leaves, feel the texture, listen for that small music of grinding. Maybe this is the tempo your soul was always built for, one that moves at breath's pace, not demands. You don't need to hold it, the sun isn't quite up. The horizon has that in-between color, not blue, not gold, just the softest promise. There's trust in this halfway light. Quietly, you wonder, How many times have you rushed past peace, thinking it was something you'd earn later, instead of something you could rest in, even now? What would change if softness was never something you sacrificed for survival? Grinding herbs, tiny flecks bright against the stone, you realize it's not about getting somewhere. This isn't hustle. It's memory, a remembering of what it's like to trust the slow blooming of your own life. The air shifts around you, thick with the scent of green. For a moment there's only this, breath drawn up, sound shaped out, each movement honest enough. It's safe now, your hands are steady. Thoughts float through, some sticky, some shy. Let them pass. Just the simple work, gentle pressure, nothing to prove. You think about mornings from childhood, maybe a grandmother simmering something on the stove, or wind lifting through the open window. How the day seemed to wait for you, not the other way around. Not every ache means something's broken. Sometimes it's the body's way of asking for presence, for just 1 minute of being met by gentle things. Let this echo, the herbs collapse under the pestle, releasing themselves leaf by leaf. With every press, you learn patience. You notice how the broken pieces smell sharper, how their life is set free in the breaking. Maybe you are like that. Maybe softness isn't about being untouched, but about releasing who you are when you let go. The breaking is also a kind of beginning. Patterns shift, old loops sigh and unravel. Even this is part of the remembering. You keep moving slowly, the room changing color as dawn deepens. You lose track of your edges. Are you the hands, the herbs, the hush? There's a unity here, old as the first sunrise, as if the land and your lungs are breathing together. You remember times you tried to force open what needed gentleness. Now you let yourself settle into the slow grind, the stone's careful circle. Let it soften here. Sometimes fear speaks loudest in the quiet. The mind offers old noises. The need to hurry, prove, transform pain into purpose. But what if, just for now, your worth is measured in presence, not production? This ritual becomes a mirror. You see yourself as you truly are, not defined by scars or striving, but held by each breath, each morning that brings you back home to softness. Even if you drift, this still lands. There's an old belief that peace is what happens once everything is fixed. But morning disagrees. The world outside might still be tangled, imperfect, unfinished. Yet here you hold a moment that is whole, exactly as it is. The herbs, the stone, your own deepening breath, all of it shaping a reminder. The slow path is sacred. Patience is powerful. Softness is wealth. You don't need to hold it. With the last press, the herbs are changed, released, aromatic, their inner gifts unlocked by your welcome. Morning keeps coming unhurried. As the first beams of light brush the counter, you rest your hands and notice how much less you're holding inside. Like the leaves you've loosened, you remember sometimes what's real isn't the grind, but the stillness you claim around it. You've turned a simple act into a ritual of return. Let this echo, and as you breathe in the green, promise-thick air, you realize you can begin again, at any pace your soul remembers. The mortar, the dawn, the motion of your own hands, all of it grounds you and becomes proof that softness and patience are not only allowed, but sacred in your world. Let it soften here. There's a hush now, underneath the last of the sun, somewhere gentle, before dreams or daylight concerns. There's a path made of wood, faded by years, warm under bare feet, winding through a garden that remembers every footstep even if you forget. This is a place where nothing is hurried, where the garden grows only by its desire to live. You step onto the planks, they give a little but hold, weathered and safe as an old friend's hand. The edges of each board cradle bits of moss, dew, a memory of rain. You notice your urge to check, to scan for weeds, to plan what blooms next, to look for order. That whisper of what's missing. What must I fix? It stirs even here beneath the trees. But tonight the garden gives you permission just to witness, just to walk, no tending or shaping or steering anything. The moon is not rushing the rose to blossom. The vine does not hurry up the fence. Let it soften here. Your breath falls into step with the hush. There's a green hush here, sometimes so quiet you can hear the petals folding inward, the slow miracle of roots thickening beneath the soil, unseen. And for so long you've measured progress by effort, or feared that stillness meant something had stalled. But in this garden, not everything is yours to nudge. Things grow while you sleep, while you rest, while you let go of your watchfulness. Even the soil breathes, even the air changes shape without being told. It's safe now. The wooden path curls near a patch where wild violets spill toward the boards, not asking permission, not needing plans. Some plants grow tangled. Some keep to their patch, but none are made anxious by the passing of seasons. The willow bows simply because it is time. It does not mourn its leaves when rain takes them. There's a lesson hiding in plain sight in what does not clutch or correct, only allows. For all the times you've thought that control was care, or vigilance meant love, here's a softer truth. Some things thrive when only watched, not handled. Tending can be eyes open. Tending can be hands behind your back. You don't need to hold it. The air on this path is neither too warm nor cold. It brushes your cheek and slips away, delicate as trust. You remember how children poke at moss and beetle, curious but not yet worried. The garden welcomes their questions, and they're leaving things alone. You wonder how many things in your life have wanted only this: sunlight, water, a little room, and the dignity of being witnessed in their own timing. The wooden planks beneath you don't urge you forward, but they do invite each step. Your body knows the rhythm, not fast, not slow, just here, just soft. Even if you drift, this still lands. Sometimes the thought rises. Shouldn't I be doing something, shaping, pruning, hustling the blooms? The habit curls through you like a breeze. But tonight you notice it and you don't have to grip. Watch how the vine has found the fence not through force, but by reaching. The bees move from flower to flower in their own order, not hurried by onlookers. The stones under the hydrangeas keep coolness for when the heat arrives, without asking who planned it so. In every unrushed inch, the garden is its own teacher. You are only walking, breathing, letting your heart trust the lesson you already know, that the greatest alchemy is permission. The magic is not in tending harder, but in trusting the life inside all things to find its way when you let it. Let this echo, somewhere ahead, the path opens wide for a patch where dusk pools between tree trunks. You pause, listening to the sound of your own breath, the gentle creak of wood, the small hush as a bird lands nearby. Even the shadows feel kind here, not a threat, but a quiet proof that light and dark belong together, needing one another to name the hour. You remember moments from your old life when anxiety led you, measuring, fixing, tending everywhere but your own peace. But now, with every step, you're learning to let the urge dissolve. What you tend, you can trust. What you love, you can watch without remaking. Let it soften here, somewhere behind. The night garden remembers each footprint. The scent of mint rises where leaves are bruised. The earth is sweeter for it. The planks creak a little, holding you in their memory. Here, life proves itself patient. Here, not knowing is sometimes the same as growing. Even as you exhale, some green thing splits open, invisible in the dark, making its slow miracle beneath the stars. Your softness is not neglect, it is partnership. Your willingness to let be, to attend without agenda, is a kind of wisdom the garden mirrors back. Even this is part of the remembering. The path is only wood, but once it was a tree. Before that, it was a seed beneath earth, biding time. Before the seed, it was silence and dark and rainwater that no one claimed or measured. The world grew it, without anyone rushing the process. And now, beneath your feet, it holds you, asking nothing. You can breathe here, as the garden breathes, neither in control nor surrendered, just allowed, just loved, just witnessed through the slow unfolding of dusk and memory, green and wooden and blessed by the quiet. There's an old drawer in the quiet part of your home, the kind you only open when the world has hushed, the kind lined with the softness of worn felt and gentle time. Inside, coins rest, not sorted, not counted, not pressed beneath expectation, just placed. Money here isn't humming with urgency or purpose. It isn't curled tight around the need to prove or perform. In this drawer, saved money is just weightless pause, silver and copper circles, holding stories in silence. You are here, beside this drawer, skin warm, breath easy, not rushing, just tracing the memory of what it felt like when having was allowed to be enough. So much talk about saving is tight, wound up with future worry. The word saved itself sometimes pinches, pressure trailed in its wake, legacy of someone else's anxious hands. But tonight, that idea loosens, that old squeeze that says more isn't safe until you guard it with your whole body, softens. Imagine all your saved money exhaling, unguarded like the air in your room. It lingers around you. A quiet, full, but without demand. Let it soften here. Most of us were taught to hold saved money like a fist, tight, white-knuckled. Squinting at numbers in the dark, what if it leaves? What if it's not enough? But your drawer is different, it's not a vault. It's not a secret. This place in you, this stillness, it is untouched by scramble or proof. Imagine the way night light slides through a window, touching those coins with a pale blue hush. These coins don't measure your goodness. They do not pulse with expectation. They rest like the part in you that's never had anything to prove. Even if you drift, this still lands. Sometimes having money saved feels like a secret someone can take a pressure to freeze, to do everything right, to never spend, to never lose your grip, as if any movement might send it scattering. But what if that's not true here? What if every dollar held is just a breath you've earned, a soft weight in safe hands? No edge, no urgency, just the hush of knowing. I hold, it's quiet in here. Let this echo. You remember times when saved money burned a hole in your pocket, not because you were careless, but because safety always felt temporary, like a song that might end too soon. The pressure to preserve became a pressure to spend, to make the ache disappear. The drawer as a place of waiting, not of peace, but of holding your breath, fearing the crack of emptiness. But tonight, the drawer is just a drawer. The coins are just coins. Like smooth stones gathered at the river's edge, they are with you, and that is all. Whether you count them or ignore them, their energy is unchanging. They witness your presence, rather than dictate it. It's safe now. Maybe someone told you money has to move, or else it stagnates and withers. Maybe you learned that money is meant to be spent, or it's wasted, that saving equals hoarding, that stillness equals stuckness, that quiet equals not enough. But those are just old breezes passing through an open window. They don't live here in this drawer. The coin is not trapped, it's at ease. Stillness here is sweet, like holding hands for a moment longer before letting go, like waiting in the sun for the first drops of rain, like the hush after laughter, when you realize you're already home. Here, stillness is a kind of safety. The saved is not under pressure to justify itself. Saved money is not an argument, it is rest. You don't need to hold it. Sometimes you hear the sigh of past generations in your bones, their warnings, their hope, their longing for security carried quietly in your cells. Don't waste, don't lose. Hide what you have so no one can take it. But you are not them. You are the one who can let the drawer stay open, who can allow rest instead of panic, ease instead of armor. The coins in your drawer do not gather dust, they gather calm. Imagine them as gentle anchors, each one a moment you cared for yourself, each coin a tiny mirror of your receiving. Even this is part of the remembering. Some will say holding is about lack, scarcity, shut doors, and paused hearts. But you can hear a softer story beneath that noise, the story where energy isn't locked or grasped, but welcomed back home. Where saving is not stockpiling fear, but letting yourself trust cycles, the exhale after income, the pause before giving. Let it soften here. Notice the air in this room, the slow, gentle weight of stillness. There is nothing to do. Not tonight. The energy of saved money in this space is peace itself, like that summer hour when light lingers through the curtains, like the hush after a storm, when the whole world feels kinder. If you want to place another coin in the drawer, let it be out of love, not out of dread. If you want to open it and gaze, do so as a witness, not a warden. This isn't a lesson, it's a remembering. Saved money doesn't have to be pressure. It can be possibility, quietly waiting, held close without demand. Even if you drift away, this softness remains. Folding the laundry that waited, it's always there, quiet, patient, asking nothing loudly, but holding a gentle edge at the back of your mind. There are mornings it simply gets looked at from door frames, from bedsides, as if a part of you is asking, am I ready to meet this today? Not just the shirts and towels and winter socks, but the quiet ache that's come from waiting. The ache that says, maybe there are pieces of me I still haven't gathered. You don't have to hurry, there's no clock, just a slow unraveling, the way clouds loosen as dusk creeps in. Sometimes the pile sits, gathering memory. A favorite sleeve holds the scent of old laughter. A soft sheet, washed so many times, knows the shape of your rest. Folding the laundry that waited is not just about tidiness. It's about the gentle return to small rituals you almost forgot you deserved. Each piece in your hand, the shirt you wore when you felt brave or ordinary or tired, carries the echo of a day that brought you here. You reach for the first cloth, and you feel the slight coolness of cotton, the familiar weight you've held before. Your hands remember more than you do. Muscle memory meets heart memory, and gently, almost without your noticing, you begin to shape order from an ordinary chaos. One fold, then another. Not to perfect, just to bring a little more care where once there was waiting. Let it soften here. It's not just laundry. It's a quiet agreement with yourself. I will tend to what is gathered. I will touch what I once avoided. The ache of avoidance is softer than you think. It sits in your chest, small but persistent, whispering that maybe you aren't quite enough until you handle what's left undone. But now, as you fold, you feel the conversation change. Each crease in the fabric is a small forgiveness. Each matched sock is a reunion, a reminder that pieces can be lost for a while and found again when you are ready. The laundry that waited is every feeling you set aside to keep moving. It is the sigh you tucked away at work. It's the longing you ignored when abundance felt far. the gentle disappointment that maybe today wasn't what you dreamed. The pile built up over days, over weeks, not out of failure, but out of life moving too quickly for you to catch up. Even if you drift, this still lands. Sometimes the fear is that tending to what waited will swallow you, that you'll be lost between socks unmatched and shirts inside out, metaphors for the messes inside, for the beliefs left jumbled and unexamined. But the truth is, as you fold, the pile shrinks, and nothing bad happens. You are not erased by your tending. The world does not punish you for finally seeing what waited. Instead, you discover a strange permission to be gentle, to witness the old ache, to say, I see you, and you are allowed. You are never behind. Even the laundry that waited has right timing. Maybe all this waiting was a quiet lesson in worth, that you deserve to come home to softness, even if you first come home to a pile. Maybe what waited wasn't just a task, but an invitation. To be present, to move slow, to let your caring hands bring order one quiet moment at a time. Just as spring rains know their rhythm and seeds trust the patience of soil, you can trust your own returning, however late, however long it takes. Let this echo, the folding is gentle tonight. Each crease is a language older than words. This is how the trees drop their leaves, slowly, unapologetically, letting what needs to fall, fall. Sometimes things wait because you were never meant to carry them all at once. Sometimes you are both the one who left things undone and the one who returns to them. Both are innocent, both are enough. Notice how your breath settles in as you work, a sigh here, a silent exhale there. Let the air around you feel safe, as if it wants to hold every sound, every pause. Even the world has its undone corners, clouds left low and heavy, the hush of old rivers wandering through forgotten meadows, branches waiting for birds to return. None of them ever hurry, and still everything is eventually tended to by soft, patient hands. Let it soften here. If you listen, you'll hear your own tender hope woven in with the fabrics, visible only when you're quiet, when you're slow. There's a memory, too, of childhood, watching someone you loved, folding laundry with practiced care, teaching you without words that taking care is what makes a place safe. Not wealth, not grandeur, not perfection, just the gentle repetition of loving, mending, returning to what waited with open palms. This is how abundance lives in the everyday. Caring for the laundry that waited says, I am worth the tending. I am safe in the act of returning. Nothing in me is ruined by a little waiting. It's safe now. There's a rhythm in the folding, the way time slows and expands, the way a task that seemed too much shrinks with each gentle motion. You can feel the pulse of old fears in your hands, the belief that leaving things undone means something about your worth or your future. But as you fold, you notice the voice soften. The inner alarm grows quiet. The world did not end because you rested. The world did not forget you because you paused. You are still here, tender, wealthy in your willingness to return. Even the ache of waiting is a part of belonging. You might remember the feel of sun-warmed laundry, the scent of a breeze that carried the promise of new beginnings. Folding the laundry that waited is like walking barefoot in old grass, each thread, each wrinkle, an echo of living. There is no judgment in this room, just the miracle of your presence. The miracle that even now you choose to tend to what was left. That kindness, it matters. To your soul, to your body, to every unseen place inside you that hoped it was never too late. Let your shoulders drop a little. Let this moment be more than enough. When the pile is gone, or simply not looming, there remains a peace that lingers. Not the peace of having done, but the peace of having returned. The laundry that waited has taught you its secrets. That safety isn't always found in control, but in meeting yourself gently in the little undone corners. That your patience was always your power, your softness always your strength. Even this is part of the remembering. Some stories never made it out loud. Some truths were folded into pages and left unsent, the ink quietly drying on paper that no one needed to see. This is one of the soul's tender mercies. What you meant, what you whispered to yourself in the hush of longing or regret, it's never vanished just because it went unread by another. The act of shaping feelings into words, even without a witness, is a kind of alchemy. It lets the ache breathe out of the body. That matters because the unsaid is not the same as the unlived. Your heart remembers every line you tried to write, every apology, every hope that didn't find the mailbox. Like water that carries secrets into thirsty ground, like the breeze that lifts old petals from the windowsill, like the moonlight touching pages, nobody else will see. Memory is patient, and it doesn't need to be reread to become real. You don't need to hold it, there are echoes with no address. Letters you wrote and tucked away, thinking, maybe one day when I'm braver or softer, or when the world feels less sharp around the edges. But time has a way of changing the way ink settles on paper. What felt urgent once, tonight seems gentler, the sting faded, the longing softened. It matters because forgiveness happens quietly, sometimes with no answer, sometimes with no reply. You get to leave the door open, just enough, for the night air to carry out what no longer speaks for you. Like a tree that lets go of leaves in its own rhythm, like rain washing dust from forgotten paths, like a gate that swings open, creaking, just because the wind said so, you are allowed to release what doesn't need to return. Let this echo, there is nothing wasted in your effort to explain yourself, to make it right, to send words into the world, even if the envelope wasn't sealed, even if nobody named you back. The heart's labor is never lost. Every unsent letter is a form of listening, to yourself, to the version of you who needed to speak, to the ache that only exists for a season. It matters because wealth of spirit isn't about what arrives. It's about what gets honored along the way. Your becoming happens in the quiet drafts, not just in the declarations. Like roots growing even in darkness, twisting deeper where nobody watches, like river stones wearing down, smoother each year from the invisible passage of water, like sunlight peeking under a closed door, finding its own way into the room. Every moment you spent writing, wishing, or wondering is part of the harvest. Even this is part of the remembering. You were never meant to live with the weight of every word you never sent. Old letters and the feelings that chased them can rest now. The effort was always enough. The lesson was not in the reply, but in the writing itself. It matters, because wealth and clarity come from what you let move through you, not just what you keep or return. You are made softer by all you've released, and stronger by all you've tried to tell the world silently. Like garden soil made richer by what was buried rather than displayed, like a shoreline that smooths over messages drawn in the sand like the hush of nightfall, gathering every sound, then letting silence do the work. You can trust that nothing is truly lost. It's safe now. There is a truth you have always carried, quieter than memory, every offering given without needing, every kindness placed with no eye to the return, every small fruit set on a forgotten shrine. These are the gifts that change you, even when nobody else sees. The world banks so many actions on a tally, but your heart knows a different math. It keeps the names of things unseen. It counts by warmth given, by hope left on a doorstep, by sweetness left in a palm with no one watching. That matters because it's only in those moments where you need nothing in return that you start to see yourself as softly, abundantly enough, like setting an apple beneath moonlight, not knowing if hands will ever pick it up, like leaving water in a bowl for a thirsty animal that may never come, like humming a lullaby to a child fallen asleep before the first note lands. Even this is part of the remembering. Sometimes it feels hard, this instinct of generosity. The mind wants a reason, a sign. It asks, if I give, will I be seen? If I love, will someone stay? But the heart, your heart, has a different language, older than asking. The freedom grows in the unseen spaces, the holy pause between giving and being recognized. It matters because you are not here to fill an empty cup or prove deserving. You are here to overflow, to touch invisible threads you have always belonged to. Like wildflowers growing where no footsteps mark the dirt, like wind winding music through windows never opened, like writing a love letter and sending it out on the breeze with no address to guide it. Let it soften here. There is a shrine in you, tender and nearly forgotten, built from moments you never counted but your soul never let go of. Each time you offer, just because, you restore something ancient, something that knows how to bloom in the dark. This remembering matters because it lets you step outside the old loop, the measure of worth that depended on being chosen or seen. It is breath given just because you can exhale, like lighting a candle for a traveler you'll never meet, like baking bread for hands you may only touch in dreams, like planting a tree in soil you may never walk again. You don't need to hold it. Somewhere beneath thought, there is an orchard growing from every unnoticed kindness, its fruit heavy, luminous, waiting for the one who needs sweetness most. You have never been empty, not really. Your life is shaped by what you've given away with no promise you would ever get it back. This is your real wealth. It stretches beyond the visible, gathering quiet power with every gift surrendered to what you cannot see. It's like a garden that grew without being watched, like the way water knows where to flow, like a prayer you didn't know you were praying. Even this is part of the remembering. There's an old comfort in letting things settle before you sweep, not as a chore, but as a ceremony you perform with your spirit half asleep, hands remembering how to move before you even begin. Tonight, we drift together through this gentle ritual, sweeping what the wind brought, letting go of the weight that gathered quietly in corners you didn't notice. Sometimes what you hold isn't even yours. There are words left in your space by strangers and old rooms, dust from stories that passed through you before you ever could name them. The first truth, most of what rests heavy was never meant to linger. You feel this, don't you? A knowing, the ache of all that's quietly arrived, uninvited and unfinished, but waiting in the dark with your name on it. Why does this matter? Because even silent spirals left behind by forgotten winds still shape how you walk, how you breathe, how you claim space in your own home. They build layer by layer, like mist clinging to the window at dawn, like threads winding around your ankles as you move through old rooms, like the way a sigh can stay in the air, hanging long after the thought that caused it. It's safe now, the second truth. Softness isn't weakness. The gentlest sweep is the most beautiful undoing. It matters because when you touch what's gathered with care, not force, you remember that healing is what happens in the quiet, not in the trying. Slow hands, slow breath. This is your permission to be tender with what shadows left behind. Sometimes it looks like moving sunlight across the floor, each particle lit up before it's brushed away. Sometime it's the hush after a storm, when wind stills and you listen for what remains in the silence. Sometimes it's remembering a loved one's hand, pausing just long enough to release what you both carried. Let this echo the third truth: you are not what collects in you. Accumulation is not identity. The heaviness you feel isn't the measure of who you are. It is only evidence that you've lived, open, allowing, exposed to the elements of love and longing and letting go. It matters because your freedom is in remembering that you can let the broom move through gently and still be whole. Nothing essential is swept away. Like a riverbed that always remains, even when currents carry silt downstream, like a spine that remembers being upright, no matter how much settles at your feet, like the quiet closing of a door at dusk, drawing soft boundaries without any need for anger or apology. You don't need to hold it. The fourth truth, even this, the act of sweeping, is a ritual of coming home. Every time you make space, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you create room for beauty to find you again. It matters because the soul craves emptiness turned sacred, the way night craves stars, or lungs crave the next breath. Not emptiness as lack, but emptiness as readiness, a vessel loving the return. Like the scent of rain on open earth, space is cleared and asking to be filled, like the golden hush that follows after laughter, the feel of air ready and waiting, like a chair pulled up by the window, inviting you to rest exactly as you are. Even this is part of the remembering. Let yourself melt into the hush that follows letting go. The wind will bring new things, but tonight, your hands are wise enough to sweep gently whatever arrived and whatever needs to leave. You are not empty or holding, simply present, simply breathing, swept clean for what tomorrow wishes to offer. Dusk is a slow gift, spreading soft blue over your life. Nothing now is asking you to be quick or clever or useful in the outside world. Let yourself remember a time before the rush, before watches and reminders and the press of a schedule you never agreed to. No one can measure your worth by how fast you move or how much you do. Sometimes, spiritual wealth is unbought hours. Space to breathe, unhurried. The preciousness of sitting with a thought until it softens. No one comes to collect your time here. No one is keeping tally of the ways you dissolve quietly into your own presence. A slow road can save you. It lets your soul remember its own footsteps. It gives you back your pace, softer and simpler, winding not for an audience but for itself. You might recall nights when time felt wide, no appointment waiting, no race starting. Just you in the somewhere between. Crickets humming, air heavy and sweet, nothing pushing your breath forward. This slowness could be remembered as a kind of home. Even now, you may notice a gentler current in your life beneath the digital tides, beneath urgency. There is an unhurried river that's always been yours. Silence knows the way back and your body remembers the map. It's safe now. If you find yourself far from that shore, there is no fixing, only returning, softly, the moon in no hurry, the ocean tide unpressed. The wealth of a night unmeasured, when you are wanted by nothing but your own spirit. Unbought hours make room for the truest part of you to stretch and reawaken, not to perform, not to heal on cue, but to exist in a way that cannot be sold, hurried, or explained. Like a late summer afternoon that lingers past its welcome, like a firelight that glows after the guests have gone, like wind moving through high trees, untouched by clocks, belonging to its own rhythm. Let this echo, this road tonight is unrushed for you. Let the old ache fade beneath the hush. Even here, even in rest, you are prosperous. Your soul was never on a timer. There is no test. You don't need to craft these moments from scratch. They come quietly out beyond duty, when you let yourself simply be here facing dusk, letting the sky darken gently within you. Maybe the greatest wealth is simply time untouched, the freedom to answer your own pace again and again. You don't need to remember this by morning, your body already has. Close your eyes or just let them rest. Imagine yourself in a quiet room, lamplight pooling gold around you. You're holding a worn ceramic mug, the kind that feels soft and heavy in your hands. Steam winds into the dimness, warm and alive, and the scent of honey and herbs drifts in the air. You sit by a window open to night outside. Grass moves in waves, gentle and endless under a wide, dark sky. Maybe there's someone you love nearby, or maybe it's just you. That's enough. Everything is slowed down here. Only what matters is present. There's an old ledger before you, found in a dream. Not a list of losses or worries, just a silent way to see how much has always lived inside you. Each line holds a memory of gentleness, a moment you chose to open when it would have been easier to close. There's no rush. Here, abundance isn't measured, only witnessed. Take a breath in and out. Let this room be your proof tonight. You don't have to do or try or perform. You are already the evidence of enoughness. I am worthy in stillness. I am worthy in stillness. My inner wealth is always present. My inner wealth is always present. I can trust what rises within me. I can trust what rises within me. It is safe to rest and receive. It is safe to rest and receive. I am more than I was taught to believe. I am more than I was taught to believe. I remember myself with every breath. I remember myself with every breath. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. Receiving is safe. There's a hush over the room. Just you and the silver spill of night. Moonlight comes quietly, never asking permission to slip across the floor. No need to rush, no craving to be seen. It arrives because it can't help but fill what's already open, what's longing to glow. Sometimes you notice it, sometimes not. The way gentle light finds its way through the curtain, painting softness on your skin, it isn't asking you to reach. In this moment, nothing is missing. Nothing has to be added or chased after. Even with the ache of wanting, even with the hunger for more, the light just is, and so are you. Notice the pause between one thought and the next. That small, endless space where you don't have to try. Where even the need to heal or to change gets wrapped in the hush of enoughness. Maybe, for now, fullness is not about what comes next, but about the simple, trembling plenty of breath, of being, of here. It's safe now. Remember how sometimes wanting can feel like living with a window cracked open, air brushing your face, a promise of something just beyond. It isn't wrong to need, it isn't wrong to hunger. But the moon doesn't ask the sky to be different, and you're allowed to experience this moment without believing something else is waiting for you. Maybe this is the moment that's been waiting, a softness that asks for nothing back. Let this echo. Your body knows how to relax into support it cannot see, like the mattress beneath you or the old strength in your bones. There's a part of you, quiet and ancient, that remembers a kind of trust that needs nothing else to fill it, it just breathes. It just is. Even this is part of the remembering. Let it be quiet tonight, not empty, not hollow, but full in the way soft fog is full, wrapping everything and making the world gentle around the edges. There's a silence that doesn't mean nothing is happening, a silence that hums beneath, like the low golden glow under your skin, quietly signaling, you are safe, you are held, you are here. Sometimes blessings don't speak. They come in with the hush of night, laying warm at your feet or behind your eyes like the weight of sleep too soft to fight. They don't arrive dressed in thunder, don't break through your doors demanding to be seen. They settle, they hum, they root, every time your breath falls out of you gentle, easy, every time your body melts a little deeper toward the bed. That is a silent blessing arriving, seen by nothing except the faithful old moon. What if abundance only needed you to get quiet, to stop searching with your eyes, to let the part of you that never makes lists or plans, that ancient part, just receive, uncounted, unhurried? You don't need to hold it. There was a time, maybe, when you thought blessings had to be loud. That you'd know abundance by applause or fireworks, by a sudden unlocking, or by someone pressing something cold and heavy into your hand. But blessings keep different hours than our stories have told us. They wait for when the world outside slows, and the world inside curls up, shy and ready in the dark. Tonight, there are blessings breathing around you softer than whispers, like stars you can't see unless you don't look too hard. There are things unfolding for you right now that have no name yet. Gifts still wrapped, seeds still sleeping, answers forming underneath questions you're too tired to ask tonight. Let it soften here. Maybe you remember crawling under covers as a child, feeling something shift as the lights clicked off and someone good stood in your doorway, just making sure you could tell that you were loved, even if they said nothing. Maybe you remember how the silence in that room wasn't empty, but full. How safety never needed a single word. Blessings work that way. They fill rooms and hearts and hours without needing to announce themselves. Wealth isn't in the noise, not always. Sometimes it's just this. The way the sheets catch your shape, the familiar, slow traffic on the street, the soft ache in your hands after a day spent giving yourself to something that matters. The wealth of a heart that keeps beating out its rhythm through all the silent nights. Even the emptiness can be full of gold. You don't need to hold it. Somewhere in this quiet, there are wishes folded so small you forgot making them, tucked under years of doing, fixing, trying harder. But energy remembers, the soul remembers, and tonight, while your breath draws slow, these silent blessings slip through the folds and find you again. Not to reward you for effort, but because you are here and softness belongs to you. Even if you drift, this still lands. The sleep of a wealthy soul isn't earned. It's received, like rain falling on wild land, or the way dusk wraps everything in blue until it's safe to let go again. You don't have to aim. You don't have to prove it. Let the silence become your witness. The gentle pulse beneath dreams. Let this echo, maybe you'll feel the blessing in the way your chest moves, the easy way your body shapes the night. Or in the cool air that touches your face, reminding you that every breath is evidence you belong here. Let these blessings flow where you don't always notice, into the softness, into the forgetting, into the hollow between thought and sleep. You don't need to hold it. Silent blessings are found in pauses, in the hush after tears, in the calm that comes without audience. The world will try to tell you true wealth is loud, but you can feel abundance sitting softly inside you, needing nothing from the world's applause. Like the weight of a beloved's hand, steady and effortless, pressing into yours, like the comfort of dim morning light before anyone stirs, like the warmth that lingers hours after the fire goes out. Let it soften here. Let yourself remember every gentle thing that arrived without needing you to perform. Let yourself recognize all the almost missed miracles. The way water poured over your hands felt familiar and holy. The way a shadow protected your eyes from noon's harshness. The way sleep found you even in restless years. Even this is part of the remembering. Some nights, wealth is just the feeling of not being chased by your own mind. Some nights, it's the heaviness of your limbs, the peace of having nothing left to finish. Some nights, prosperity is the grace of a single deep exhale. You don't have to grasp at these things, they are soft by nature. If you chase them, they run. If you wait, they gather. You don't need to hold it. There is a wealth that lives in not needing to announce itself. The way roots curl deep beneath soil, working quietly to hold the whole world upright. There's abundance that goes unsaid, like every kindness you gave when no one watched, like every time you tried again, even when it cost you. Even if you drift, this still lands. Let yourself trust the silent blessings you never had to name. Trust that even now, as your body slows and your mind loosens, there are gentle things unfolding for you. Whole seasons changing, quietly and on time, whether you see them or not. Whole symphonies of care building up under the noise of old doubts. You don't need to hold it. Tonight, the world gets to be soft with you. Tonight, every hush is a kind of wealth. Tonight, the only thing to receive is the soundless flow of goodness, through the smallest openings in your armor, through the length of your back pressed into safety, through the long silence between your waking thoughts. Let it soften here. Let this sleep become a blessing, the richest kind, not because you worked harder, but because you consented to rest. Silent blessings do not keep score. They are not here to measure. They are what's left when every measurement falls away. The space after the last word, the hush after the final sigh, where there is nothing left to claim, and yet so much is given. Even this is part of the remembering. Soften. Release the story that needs proof. Consider that maybe, all along, you have been wrapped in so much quiet care that if you stopped searching